Welcome to a new video series, Ask Your Excel Question. In this series, I will be providing solutions to questions that I receive from our community. These videos are going to be very short and to the point, addressing a specific feature or a concept or a formula. And if you would like to be notified of these videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to ask your own questions, please post them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer. In our first episode of this series, we are going to see how we can create a drop-down list in Excel. To begin with, what is a drop-down list? A drop-down list is a way to implement data validation in Excel. Let's take a look at cell E5 where I have already implemented a drop-down list. So the first thing is when you click inside E5, you will see that there is a helpful message which says this cell is expecting an employee name. Please choose an employee from the list. Okay, so the first thing is you can inform the user some useful directional information that the user will need to know what data to be entered inside that specific cell. The second thing is you will be able to see the list of values that the cell can take. The third thing is you can actually choose a value from the list instead of typing that specific value. So it helps a little bit in the data entry as well. And then the next thing is if you enter an invalid entry, it'll actually prevent it from happening. So let me say, for example, I want to type Don and I'm going to hit enter. It actually will prevent me from entering that specific value. And also it can have the option to pop up a message like this, which says you have entered an invalid employee name. Please choose from the list. So now I can say cancel, and then I'm going to go back and say John, and now that's fine. So this is in summary what the drop-down list is doing. Now, for the rest of the video, we're going to see how we can create such a drop-down list very, very quickly. So now I am in a brand new workbook. And so the first thing we're going to do is to create our list of values, the list of values that we want to supply to the drop-down list. So in this case, I'm going to assume we have employee names, and I'm going to type a few names just to begin with. And what we're going to do now is we have already entered the list of values. Now I'm going to select all the 4 cells and I'm going to press Control T to convert them to a table. Control T. And then I'm going to check this box, my table has headers. And this is important because I've already entered a header, which is the cell A3 is my header. So I'm actually choosing that box here and I'm hitting OK. And now it has created these cells into a table and it calls it table 1. That's how Excel by default names it. And now we have a table. And the next step is for us to create a name for our list of values. So for example, I'm just going to select these values. So 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to press Control F3, or you can also go Formulas ribbon, Name Manager. You can also do Control F3 if you're doing a keyboard shortcut. I'm going to do that. And now what you see is there is already a table that we created. And now what we're going to do is to create a new name. And you will see that it is referring to the table, the employee name column. And so now I'm going to give a name to this. Usually I give a name which starts with L underscore if it is a list. And this is a list. So I'm going to create this as L underscore EMP. So this is our list of employee names. Now I'm going to hit OK. So now that name has been created. So I can use it anywhere now. So let's hit close. So now that we have created one list of names, now the next thing is to implement this in a cell for data validation. So I'm going to choose, let's say, E3 as our cell. So just to make sure that it's easy to see, I'm just going to highlight this. And in this, we're going to implement data validation. So we're going to go data validation. And here in the settings, we want to choose list. And now what is the list that we want to provide to this validation? This is where we have to go and find the list that we just now created. So I'm going to press F3 shortcut, and this will actually open up and show all the names we have in our workbook. We only have one. And so I'm going to select that. It'll actually say equals L_EMP. And I'm going to hit OK. There we go. Now you will see that we have implemented a drop-down list in the cell E3. And now it'll work just like what I showed before. The nice thing about this type of implementation is that if we end up adding another name here, let's say Don, then the drop-down list will automatically expand. So we don't have to keep changing it. You can have any number. As you expand this table, this will automatically update. So that's the nice thing about it. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is a couple of optional things that we didn't cover. Or if you go into the data validation, you can actually put an input message just like we saw at the beginning. You can type an input message which will appear to guide the user. You can also put an error message. If somebody types the wrong information, then it'll show the error message. So you can do that as optional. Those are not absolutely required, but those are nice ways to actually enhance the user experience if the user is not very familiar with the sheet or the data. Okay, now there are a couple of extensions that I want to cover. So one is, this is great, you're implementing it in one cell. How about if I want it in multiple places? So it's very easy, you just copy the cell and you can paste it in another place. And the nice thing about this is Excel will copy over the drop-down list as well. So this is one way you can do this. You can also put it, like I can copy this and I can go to a new sheet and I can put it up there, it'll still work. So if you want to do it in multiple cells, then this is one way you can easily do it. The other thing is, let's say if you have it in a table. I want it, let me show you an example. I will do employee number, employee name. So let's say this is a table. I have 3. Okay, I'm just going to create a very simple table. There you go. So now if I have a list of employees, and I will have more employees in the future. So when I want to select the employee names, I don't want to be doing this data validation piece again and again and again. So a nice thing about Excel's table feature is that it allows you to do this automatically. So it works the very similar way that we walked through previously for one cell. So you select, let's say we have 3 cells in this table to begin with. If you have just one, that's fine as well. But in this case, we've created 3. So I'm going to select all the 3 and I'm going to follow the exact same process. Go to data validation and choose list. And then we will do F3, paste that and hit OK. So now we have implemented this in all these cells. Okay, that's great. We can select them. And now if in the future I have a 4th employee, let's say we have Don already, and I'm going to press 4. I should have selected Kate. Okay. Now, as soon as we entered 4, you saw that this cell will also have the drop-down. So as you extend this table, you will have the drop-down lists also continue to be enabled. So this is one nice thing about Excel tables, which comes in very, very handy. So this is how we can easily implement drop-down lists in one cell or many cells, or expanding dynamic tables as well. So the drop-down lists are great. I use it in all the templates that I have. However, there is one thing that I want to caution. For example, if I have a cell where I have a value copied and then I want to just paste it here, it will still accept without giving me that error message, or it doesn't prevent me from doing it. But the good thing about it is that Excel will still give you an indication that there is a problem with the cell, and that you can see it here, that when you click on this, you will see that it will tell you that the value in the cell is invalid or missing. So please keep that in mind. Always be careful about if you see these type of error icons, make sure that you go in and then select the right value in there, and that'll fix the problem. So please be aware of that. Another way this can happen is if your input list changes. So let's say, for example, Kate is no longer a valid value. However, in your data table, Kate will still be there. and it's not going to automatically update to ABC. So please note that now Kate is actually not a valid value. So if I enter Kate in a new cell, it'll prevent me from doing it. However, wherever I've entered Kate previously, it will not automatically change it. In this case, it is not also giving me an error message. So please be aware of these gaps whenever you use drop-down lists. I hope you found this video useful. I will put a link to the blog post in the video description below, where you'll find the detailed step-by-step instructions with screenshots. And if you'd like to post an Excel question, please do so in the comment section below. And if you'd like to be notified of the future videos, please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next episode of Ask Your Excel Question. Thank you very much for watching.